Hello guys and welcome to this TCG Buzz deck profile. I'm Darien and I'm going to be showing off my PRISM deck. This took me quite a while to build, so why don't I just get right into the cards. First I'm going to go through the G zone because, you know, that's the easiest part of the deck. So I'm going to take these other cards over here, just kind of hide them away. So in my G zone I have 4 copies of PRISM Image Sunshine Vert. This is kind of the card that is really essential in this deck because it will let you play down your Vanguard, which is the grade 3. You play this on top when you can stride, and then when you're done doing this, you can take a grade 3 from your hand and you can play it on top, which synergizes very well with all the grade 3s in this deck. Another grade 4 we have in this deck is ISM-Promise Princess Labrador. She's not the most important card in this G zone, but it does definitely let you get more damage or create a little bit more carnage on your opponent, which it's pretty good in a pinch, but I wouldn't say it will help you win the game. Then we have School Etoile Olivia, which, I mean, this is just essential in any Bermuda Triangle deck. There's no reason not to run this. It gives you some extra crit power and returning power. So if you have cards that let you return them to your hand, this will definitely help you out a lot. For our G Guardians, we have 2 copies of Hand in Hand Leona, which, I mean, this is my favorite one to use. Lets you return a card to your hand so you can get the effect of that. And if you play that card down, you get an extra plus 5,000 for your shield. So this card's pretty handy dandy. Then we have 2 copies of Sailor's Medley Nasha. Personally, I like to have a lot of choice. So I have this card in my deck, which basically lets you reveal a card from your hand. And if it's the same grade as something that's on your rear guard, that will definitely help you out. So this is a pretty solid G zone. This is pretty much the first part that I was able to finish. Not the easiest task, but it was a lot easier than finishing the deck to my standards. I'll put these to the side. I'll go through my grade 0s all the way to grade 3s in order. So here we have the starting Vanguard, ISM-Smile Koro. She's pretty handy when it comes to return effects. So if you want to get more than one card like taken back, it's kind of difficult to explain this without really showing it off. But you basically can return another card, and then you can return this card. And this helps out with effects with like Olivia or with the Vert that I have in my G zone. Then I'm going to go off to the triggers with numbers. I have 4 heal triggers, just vanilla ones. ISM-Miracle Timor. Just standard. You should always have 4. So that's a good card. For critical triggers, I have 2 copies of ISM-Miracle Canary. Just another vanilla card. Just nice to have. Then we have 4 copies of PRISM Image Sunshine Clear for all of the other critical triggers. It has an effect which lets you basically choose where you, I forget this one. You counterblast and choose a card named PRISM Image Sunshine. Clear from my hand, reveal it, and return to my deck. When this unit is returned to your hand from rear guard, if you have Vanguard with PRISM in its card name, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for 1 grade 1 or greater with Vert, Rosa, or Clear in the card name. Call to rear guard and shuffle your deck. You may return this unit called with the effect to your hand. This is a really handy card, especially when you need to get Vert, which basically this whole deck revolves around Vert, but we'll get into how many is for my grade 3 ratios. Then I run 4 stand triggers. I do like to stand. It has an effect. It's ISM-Miracle Irish. So basically when this card is returned to your hand, I can choose another Bermuda and boost it by 4,000 attack. Good card. I really enjoy it. Then our final triggers are our draw triggers. I just have 2 draw triggers, ISM-Miracle, Aria. Good card. I really enjoy it. So we have that as our grade 1s lineup. I'm going to move these aside so I can show you my grade 1s. I'm pretty happy with this deck. I understand it. Then with our grade 1s, I have a single copy of PRISM Image Clear. Not the most important one. You get to Soul Charge, I believe. Nope, Soul Blast. When this unit is returned to your hand from rear guard, you may pay the cost if you choose another card and basically boost it by 4,000. Not the most important thing in the planet. That's why I only have 1 copy. Then we have 4 copies of ISM-Promise Princess Leyte. This is a pretty important card in the deck. It lets you countercharge and soul charge one. I mean, the soul charging isn't the biggest thing in the deck, but this definitely does help you when it comes to needing to blast. So, all right, then we have the Perfect Guard, our Sentinel card. We have 4 copies of ISM-Duo Aria. Just this standard Perfect Guard, nothing too special about it. Then I have my Limit Break Enablers. I have 2 copies of ISM-Duo Loretta. I find this to be a pretty efficient way of running the deck, because this deck you definitely want to take a little bit of damage, but if you draw into these, very good to get them in your hand, because this deck does depend a lot on Limit Break. Then we have 2 copies of Brand-New PRISM Emeral. I mean, she's not brand new anymore, but I just run her for more grade 1s, but does give a little bit of a boost once in a while. It's just a good idea to run. Then we have 3 copies of PRISM-Smile Scotia. Oh, this is a grade 2. Whoopsies. But yeah, going into grade 2s, I was getting a little ahead of myself. Pretty decent grade 1 lineup. But when we get into the grade 2s, we have 3 copies of PRISM-Smile Scotia. This is definitely a good one when you counterblast 1 Bermuda Triangle. When this unit attacks, you may pay the cost. You can give this unit 4,000 attack extra. So this can definitely get you up to a grade 3 strength when you're still only a grade 2 Vanguard, so that's pretty good. Then the next grade 2s we have is ISM-Promise Princess Celtic, which this card actually does a very good job working with the next grade 2 that I'll be showing off. But this has an effect where you can counterblast 1 card with Prism in its card name. This unit attacks, hits a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your other rear guards and return it to your hand. If you return to rear guard, draw a card. Good draw power. I enjoy the card. It's just good, especially if you're in a pinch. But it does very well with ISM-Promise Celtic, which, I mean, this card has very pretty art. I really like the art on this card. When this unit is returned to your hand from rear guard, you pay the cost. If you do, choose another one of your Bermuda Triangle, and that unit gets plus 4,000 attack. Very good when you use both Princess Celtics together, or both Celtics together. They're not both princesses, because, you know, royalty brings power. So then we have the next one. We have 2 copies of PRISM Image Rosa. When this unit attacks, if you have a Bermuda Triangle Vanguard and or rear guard with Limit Break 4, this unit gets plus 3,000 attack until end of battle. So this just synergizes very, very well with this deck. Then we have 2 copies of ISM-Romance Lumiere. When this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Prism in its card name, this gets plus 3,000 until the end of battle. This is good to have on rear guard, hence why it has a rear guard ability. gets you up to your grade 3 strength when you're still at a grade 2 only turn. So those are my grade 2s. Pretty good lineup. I'm comfortable running this deck. That's why I'm giving you a deck profile. It works pretty well for me. Now we're off to the grade 3s, aka the most important part of winning the game. So here we have 3 copies of PRISM Image Vert. I don't run more because, you know, I want my ratios to be pretty good. But this card is basically the one you want to play off of. So you want to get this to be your start of your turn card. So you'll run it with starting your turn with this card. You go into striding onto PRISM Image Sunshine Vert. And then when you get done doing her effects, you get those off. Then you will want to go into either one of my grade 3s, which they're kind of based on time, but it's a little bit one of those things that you want to do because, you know, this card, when you get through it, it gives you plus 10,000 onto the card that rides onto it. So that's nice because you can break ride. Then I have the next most important card, PRISM Promise Labrador, 3 copies. Man, this was a very difficult card to get, can I say. This card, basically, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may choose up to 3 cards with PRISM in its card name from your hand and call them to an open rear guard. If you call 3 cards, this unit gets plus 10,000 attack and 1 critical. So you can essentially go off of PRISM Image Vert, get the plus 10,000 off that, go to PRISM Promise Labrador, get another 10,000 and a critical. So your opponent's going to have to definitely try to wall you out of 2 damage. Then this is kind of the last resort card, brand new PRISM Garnet. She has a Limit Break 5 ability that if you get her Limit Break 4 off, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, choose up to 3 cards with PRISM in its card name from your hand and call them to separate rear guards. If you call 3 cards until the end of that turn, until the end of this turn, this unit gets Limit Break 5. This unit gets plus 1 drive check. Which, wow, this is a good finisher card because you could probably get into an extra crit, maybe an extra stand, maybe get a heal trigger, who knows. But, I mean, it's a very good card to have. I'm running it at 2. That's why I'm running everything else at 3 in my grade 3s because, you know, I feel like this ratio is pretty good. If it takes you more than 2 to 3 attempts to get plus 1 crit damage on someone else, you're not doing your job when you're down in your grade 2s or even on your strides. But I mean, this deck plays pretty good. It's an aggressive deck. It keeps up pretty good with the current meta. You just got to watch out for people who cancel or retire your rear guards, lock your rear guard. But that's pretty much every other deck. But, you know, this deck has a pretty good tendency of keeping up with current cards. So if you like this video, make sure to hit this like and subscribe button and the bell. Also, what do you think of this deck? Do you have another variation of it? Let us know in the comments. Also, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Or, as Dalton always says, stay classy, y'all.